Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Judge, if we could do Mr. Washington, Ishmael Washington. Prosecutor said she had no issue with it, so we should be good.
Mr. Washington, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down, sir. Mr. Ishmael Washington, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus versus Ishmael Washington, 2022 CR 01158. Hit and run accident, count 1, improper lane change, count 2, no license, count 3. You're represented by attorney Owen Lynch with the law firm of Lister, Holt and Dennis. Mr. Lynch, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Okay. Judge, he's pleading guilty to counts 1, 2, and 3.
All right, by entering a plea of guilty to counts 1, 2, and 3, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf to not incriminate yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On September 7th, 2020, at approximately 9:15 p.m., officers responded to a motor vehicle crash that was reported at I-75 South near Forest Parkway in Clayton County, Georgia. The third-party witness called and reported that the white vehicle spun out of control and struck a median. Officers arrived, observed the crash, and observed a white Kia Optima disabled in the gore. Officers made contact with the defendant, and he asked what happened at the crash. The defendant stated that a car swerved in front of him. He stated he slammed on the brakes. And that he left, and then after the accident actually occurred, he stated that he left the scene. He stated that he did so because it was dark. The officer then, during the investigation, the officer got information from the defendant that he did not have his driver's license with him, that he did not have his a Georgia's driver's license at all. The officer conducted a GCIC check and found that the defendant does not have a driver's license. As to count one, the state is recommending we're doing a credit for time served. I'm trying to confirm how much time he's actually served.
So
Because my computer.
he's been here in Clayton County for the past 14 days approximately. Prior to that, he did 6 months in Gwinnett, and prior to that, he did 2 years in Texas prison system. So he's been continuously incarcerated for 2.5 years, but he's been in Clayton County for 14 days, and the previous 6 months was in Gwinnett County, and so that's
Okay. So accordingly, I would the state would recommend 12 months to serve 14 days, credit for the time served. The balance will be probated for the defendant to pay a $500 fine, complete 50 hours of community service, do a defensive driving course, and then the probation can terminate upon completion. As to count two, the state is recommending a $100 suspended fine. And as to count three, the state is recommending a $500 suspended fine.
And so, Judge, I think there might have been some miscommunication between me and Miss Adams. But instead of going back to the drawing board, I would just kind of proceed and make my own recommendation if that is okay with.
Well, now's the time to do that.
Yes, Judge. So, Judge, I certainly understand the request for probation, community service, driver improvement course. Judge, Mr. Washington, I believe, was extradited from Texas, where he served 2 years. He spent the past 6 months in Gwinnett County, and he's been in Clayton County for the past 2 weeks. This is the last thing holding him in custody, Judge. We would ask the court to consider giving him credit for the time that he spent in Gwinnett and just giving him a suspended sentence, so that he can kind of get a fresh start, Judge. I understand this is a serious offense. As far as the hit and run, his license will be suspended as a result of that, Judge. He's really just starting over right now. And so I just don't want to set him up for failure to have him reporting to probation. The other issue, Judge, is as soon as he's released from custody, he has to make it known to the parole board in Texas, and get himself, back reporting with them. So I don't know if I think him reporting in Clayton County might create an issue with that. Are you gonna have to go back to Texas? Yeah, I gotta go back. So my understanding is he's gonna have to go back to Texas as soon as he gets out of custody on his matters in Georgia, Judge.
How old are you, Mr. Washington?
I'm 38, ma'am.
Shawshank, you about to be 40 years old. Why are you doing all this foolishness? What is it that, do you not see that you're wasting your life?
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Step up to the red microphone.
Oh, yes, ma'am. This is my last stop. I'm done with all this. It's over with. I done had enough. I'm on the same page you on.
I mean, because at 40, this is what I envision. Let me just say, go with me on this. Whatever job or business you are in, you should be established at that point at 40. You should be thinking about, okay, so I'm paying stuff off, I'm paying stuff down. Do I want to put a little aside in case I got to buy a car, or do I want to take a little vacation and take this cruise, or, I can, drive somewhere and have a good time. But you out here still running with these young boys, and you 38 years old, sir. And these young boys do it a little different. You in jails, in prisons with them, and it don't make no sense. So what I'm saying to you is you're getting too old for this game.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
at this point need to figure out what it is you're going to do with your life. And you say you're on the same page as me, but nothing happens without a plan.
Right.
You need to go somewhere and write down what those things, those skills and abilities that you have, things that you can do that will legitimately, legally make you money. And then start going in the direction of that. Do you have children?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's good, because you need to really focus on you right now. You need to be so fully focused on you that you can't see to the left or the right. You need to figure out how you're going to support yourself. You need to figure out how you're going to continue with whatever court obligations that you have so that you don't mess yourself up. And you need to continue to stay out of trouble. Those are three things. You need to figure out a good source of income that is legal. You need to figure out how to manage your court obligations so that you don't mess yourself up and get back in jail. And the third thing is you need to not pick up any additional new charges.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And you need to start writing down your goals. Write those as your three categories. And under those three headings, you need to start putting down what it is you need to do to make sure you meet those goals. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you're just out here going from day to day, there's no plan, then you plan to fail. You got to have a plan, even if that's not where you end up, because this is not the career I thought I would end up in. It was a different career, but I somehow ended up here, which I think is where I'm supposed to be. But you got to have a plan. And if an opportunity pops up while you have this plan, then you have the basis from which to accept an opportunity. Might be a little different than your plan, but it's still going in the right direction. But when you're just out here hanging at 38 years old, you're too old for this. We clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to accept your plea, send you to 12 months to serve 14 days credit for time served. Balance will be probated for you to pay a fine in the amount of $500. That's going to be $1,420 with the surcharges to do 50 hours of community service and to complete a driver improvement course. That driver improvement course can be found on the website for the state of Georgia Driver Services Department of Driver Services. Mr. Lynch, okay, what is it you wanted me to do? Because really,
Go ahead, Judge.
no, go ahead.
Well, what I had was basically asking for credit for time served, but I would just ask if you are gonna sentence him to the probated sentence with those conditions, that you would allow it to terminate on completion and maybe
Why would I
consider.
do all that, Mr. Lynch? He
Well,
hit a car and ran.
I understand that, Judge.
He put lives in jeopardy.
And I can't
And get this, the reason you want me to do those things that you're asking me for is because he has subsequent other things that he's done wrong that he's paying for, and you want me to accommodate those things at instead of going ahead and sentencing as I normally would. I'm not inclined to accommodate his other criminality.
And I understand that, Judge.
What I'm telling Mr. Washington is he needs to get his stuff together. So yes, sir.
I won't argue with anything you're stating. I understand where the court stands on this. I would just point out, Judge, the only thing about terminating on completion is that, it's going to be an issue for him to report to Clayton County, when I believe he has to get back to Texas. But
well, what he got going on in Texas?
Well, I believe he's on parole, Judge. But I guess if you wouldn't consider doing it terminate on completion up front, would you consider if he can get everything turned into the court, and would you consider terminating on that point if he completes all?
Ms. Adams, you have any objection to what Mr. Lynch has asked for?
No, Your Honor, I'll have no objection to that.
All right, so if he completes it, then they can request termination upon completion at the completion of all of these things. Sir, don't go out there Googling a driver improvement course. You go directly to the Department of Driver Services website. They have a list of courses that are approved that will give me the certificate that I'm looking for. Those are the only ones I will accept. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, get your life together, Mr. Washington. Don't be out here being a chucklehead into your 40s and 50s, because that is not cute. It's like being the old man on the dance floor. It's not cute. All right, going back with the sheriff's office, you'll meet with probation. Count 2 will be a $100 suspended fine, and count 3 will be a $500 suspended fine. Those will run concurrent. 2 and 3 will run concurrent with count 1.
Thank you, Judge.
Almost 40 years old, acting like a chucklehead. Spinning out your car, then running from the median bed. Better make a life plan instead of running with the boys. Don't be the old man making all that foolish noise. Gotta pay your fines and grow up, son. Doing life one charge at a time ain't no fun. No fun. Better pay those fines, son. Get gone.